We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworks because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworks with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworks with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworks with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
There, I just added my own. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Ironworks, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. I am moving slow this morning.
I am right there with you, man.
I
got tapping at my door. I'm not sure what time it was. I didn't even look. It was men. I just opened the door. I was like, what do you want?
How many of them were there?
Just the one.
Just the one min?
Yeah. One minion running around here. So we had a sleepover last night. He hung out with the guys. It was fun. Well, I don't know. He came in. I went back to bed. Getting better. I'm not good when I get woken up in the middle of the night. I'm usually not happy. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's being interrupted from a dream or something like that. Well, I don't know what it is, but I wake up. If I get woken up like that, man, I'm a cranky asshole.
I'm the same way. It's only for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then usually it's like the brain fog lifts and I'm not quite the asshole I was. But about 75, 80% of the time, if I nap or if I'm sleeping, if I get woken up outside my schedule or my predetermined wake up time, yeah, I'm a real cocksucker too.
See, naps is okay. Naps, I like being woken up out of a midday nap. If I could have it my way, they'd only last 25, 30 minutes. Usually that doesn't happen, though, unless I set an alarm. And that doesn't work because I don't fall asleep right away. I'll be laying there and my alarm will go off while I'm still awake. So, yeah, it's got to be, it's weird. During the day, it's not so bad, but in the middle of the night when it's all dark and everything, I don't know what it is. I just get, I don't know. Turn to that cranky guy down the street, the old man who yells at the children, "Get off my lawn!"
Dixie's learned to either not wake me up or to get like a big pole to poke me with. She says I'm kind of scary when she wakes me up. I think there's part of my brain that realizes that I'm at my most vulnerable. And it's that part that's like always on guard that wakes up first. So when I get woken up, it's usually immediately right to fight or flight. And it's usually just fight. So she learns to either not wake me up or to do it very carefully.
So how was your weekend? How was your
winter solstice?
Yeah.
It was good. It was quiet, uneventful. Mom took a bit of a turn. She's not doing too well. She's in the hospital. I mean, she sounds okay, but still not mentally really all there, and physically not doing so hot. So they're trying to figure out exactly why she made that fast turn. But other than that, things are okay.
Right.
My dad became a octogenarian, which is a little disgusting. And I think makes me a little more depressed than it does him, probably.
I don't know what that is.
My dad turned 80 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I could see how he wouldn't be too excited about it, though.
No, I'm sure wasn't. But
that is awesome, though.
Yeah, it's that guilt and shame that I carry around with me for the way I've let that relationship deteriorate and the horrible things I've done to harm it. And then realize that, fuck, he's already 80. How much chance does that really give me to repair of any sort? But we'll see.
There's always time.
There's always time. Stranger things.
Until there isn't.
That's right. Uh-huh. And even then, that's, who knows?
Yeah, I did some panning out in the creek.
Yeah?
I don't know, it's been calling me lately. I found I'm getting better at reading the turns in the current and knowing where to look for the heavier stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting lots of that black sand with little gold flakes in it. It's just such a pain in the ass separating the gold flakes out of that black sand. I decided that I'm just going to keep on. I'm not going to worry about that part.
Do you have a sluice? Do you have any way to make that more automated?
No, nothing like that. I could, but I really enjoy just standing out there. And it's kind of like fishing in a way, but it's a little bit slower. So I just go out for maybe an hour, hour and a half, just a couple scoops, and look through all the bigger stuff, pull out all the crystal. Most of it's crystals. It's either some type of quartz. There's a couple like rocks in there, but then a lot of it is wood that is broken down, that's in the process of being turned into some type of crystal. I am finding so many chunks where I would have thought they were a piece of wood before, or a piece of a rock. But if you take that thing and you really take a key grip to it and try to break it, you can break half the rocks out in the creek. And they're just wood inside. You'll still see wood, but the whole outside will be like these crystalline flakes forming all over and hardening it. It's amazing how I have no idea how long these pieces of wood have been out there. I was thinking about doing that, just taking a fresh piece of wood, setting it out there, and in a little area, maybe screen it off so it doesn't get pushed down the river, and then see how long it takes for that wood to become a mineral. Yeah, it's just amazing how quickly these processes happen. And I think it mostly has to do with the whatever's in the water running over the rocks. I don't think with distilled water, but then again, I don't know. I have no idea what's really going on out there. But yeah, it was just called out there. It's been calling me. Like, hey, dude, I'm right here. You haven't visited in a while. Get your ass out here. So it's nice. Just, man, when you stand up here on the deck with all the leaves gone right now, you can hear the highway a lot more. But if you get down there in that creek bed, you don't hear anything but running water all around you. So yeah, it was nice. I needed some nature time. Me and nature. But yeah, real quiet weekend. Watch that nonsense of the James Webb being launched. I think it was like maybe 10 seconds, maybe, of actual footage. The rocket going up, and then straight to animation. Oh, it was so pathetic. So did you know that this one's going to be like way out there?
1,000,000 miles.
So what and they didn't like stop it in lower Earth orbit.
No.
To test it out, make sure everything worked.
We're gonna go 1,000,000 miles and then we'll see.
Yeah. What happens if it doesn't? I mean, the Hubble didn't work, right? They had to go up and repair the Hubble with the space shuttle. They had astronauts go to the Hubble and fix it. I mean, you can tighten down all kinds of your screws and nuts and bolts and this and that. You know how much rattling is going on on that rocket trip ride up out of Earth's atmosphere? I'm sure that thing is shaking. All kinds of stuff could come loose or this or that or yada, yada, yada. I thought for sure that they would test it in low Earth orbit. I thought for sure, like, hey, let's make sure everything's working before we send it 1,000,000 miles away where we can't get to it. I mean, this wasn't like a $150 million. This is a $10 billion telescope. It's like half of NASA's budget for a year. And no checks.
How about just stop and spin around? Maybe just get outside of Earth's atmosphere. Then turn around and take a picture. I mean,
you know that ain't gonna happen.
And it's not like it's a Hubble space telescope anyway, right? This is an infrared camera. So they're getting all these probably far end infrared images that will need to be interpreted.
Oh yeah. None of them are going to be like looking at a computer monitor, and I bet all of them will have to be processed. Well, the guy who said he's in charge of the Hubble. He's like in charge of the Hubble for 30 years. Or however long it's been up there, 24 years or whatever. He's never seen live footage from the Hubble. It doesn't have those capabilities. It renders
OBS.
images.
Doesn't NASA know OBS? Just throw OBS on there before you put it up. You can do remote access. Come in on your phone. And it's open source, for fuck's sake. Pardon my language, it's early.
Did you see the newly incredibly detailed Mars imagery? The sky's blue. They're actually saying that they changed the color of the sky to blue to make it easier for people here on Earth to study the features, because it's more Earth-like looking. I want to put the image through like a photo forensic, I would bet that they didn't touch it. This is an undoctored photo from NASA. Very rare. But it's of Mars, and the sky is blue. It's like it looks like it was taken out, here on Earth, out in Arizona or New Mexico or something. Here, I'll drop this in the. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, they're just not even trying anymore. They're just gonna say, oh, because I bet it does take a while to go and doctor all these images. You can say, okay, change this to color red or pink or whatever, but right along the lines, you're always going to have all those colors kind of mix mashing and mending in with like the mountainside. So I bet you have to go in there and change all those pixels, individually to change the colors around when you get near the lines that are being drawn. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How that pixelation, when you get two colors near each other in a photo, they'll like kind of merge, and you'll have say it's a blue sky on a black hilltop. Well, right along the line where the black line is, sometimes there'll be like a blue that gets in there somewhere, and then the other colors are in between it. So you have to like go into the image pixel by pixel and change those colors to the colors you want them to match the change in the sky color you made. I think they're just getting lazy. And they're like, yeah, let's just not do this anymore. Let's just tell them that we changed it to look like Earth.
And we'll tell them they're so stupid they just can't figure it out unless we don't change it. Because they're stupid.
And I guess Elon was saying, Elon's been on just everybody's shit list lately, it appears. Have you, I forget who's, some other tech giant or some other billionaire, some new young billionaire Elon's poking at now. But this is actually a billionaire, I think, who's got, like, actually created something to earn his wealth. So I think that's why Elon doesn't like him.
Yeah, fuck him.
China completed its 4th spacewalk already.
Wow. How come I don't see a video here? I was going to check out the incredibly detailed Mars imagery captured by NASA's rover, but the video below is not below. Well, I'm sure it's funny as hell. It is NASA, so I'll just go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt and just assume that I laughed my ass off after having watched it.
So it looks like now this is from the Psy Post, PSY Post. Never heard of them before. It says eye tracking study suggests that people with social anxiety not only avoid looking at strangers, but also their surroundings. So eye tracking study. I wonder who's doing this study.
Right.
It's a new study published by the journal PLOS 1. Social anxiety is characterized by increased avoidance rather than hypervigilance during social situations. Yeah, I really don't want to get into social anxiety disorder or any of that. I'm more interested in them studying. Okay, so it's 30 students from a university in the United Kingdom. They were fitted with eye-tracking glasses and completed measures of state anxiety and trait social anxiety. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was trying to get people to look up at their little sensors. There are so many different organizations. I mean, Walmart's been doing it for years. Those little iris scanners or facial recognition cameras.
Interpreting information given to us from Google.
Did you see the president and the first lady taking phone calls?
Oh, I wanted to have that ready. I think Walt put it in chat, I'm pretty sure. Because he was pissing himself when he saw it too. Because I wanted to have that soundbite ready.
He was so mad. He was like, "Where's that? Where you live?" Right afterwards, he wanted to find out where that person was from.
Are you in Oregon? Where do you live? Okay, sure.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about,
I dig it.
They were taking phone calls at the White House. I think it was at the White House. And someone said, they were being nice and polite, just talking with the prez and the first lady. And then all of a sudden he's like, "God bless America and let's go, Brandon." And Biden just repeated it. Let's go, Brandon.
They both doubled down. Listen to Jill. She's like, yeah, fuck that guy.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, where are you in Oregon? Where's your home?
Where's your home? What's your home address? What are your home coordinates?
Where's your home? Wonder if he was going to try and do the old Barack Obama. What are those things? Predator missiles.
Predator drone strike.
I got a Christmas present for you. I'm sure presidents throughout history have all been heckled, I've never seen anything like this before. I'm not quite ancient yet, but, I'm well aged, I'd say. If I were a wine, I'm about, 4 decades on the shelf. I have never seen any president spoken to by, I don't know. George Bush was pretty bad. Don't get me wrong. Junior, at least. But I don't know what it is. Is it the age? And this guy is trying to say he's running for re-election. Have you heard that?
Where he was, "Don't tempt me if I get to run against Donald Trump. Don't even tempt me," he says. Yeah, I heard that shit.
And the Democrats are like, "Wait a minute, Joe's going to be 86?"
Ian says Joe would be a vinegar.
But 86 years old. Have we ever had a president this old?
I don't think so. And I think,
is this a dating stream?
Hey, what's up, Trav?
Did I call the right number?
This is. My name is Josh. I'm a Libra. I'm 44. I like short walks on the beach because I like to take long-distance photography pictures.
I need a Josephine, not a Joshua.
Well, shit. Here I was all excited because I love a man with a fancy mustache.
What's up, guys?
Travis. What's
up, Zach?
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. My mom kicked out a kick-ass hemp hat, dude.
Nice.
Yeah. She's like, "I finally got it. I think I understand what your friend was telling me." So, looks pretty good. But
yeah, there's a method to it.
Yeah.
I had trouble with the last I was making a hat for a guy out in Colorado, and I switched it up in the middle, and then I tried going back to the old way, where you start off with 10, and I did it with 20.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you have to cut down how many loops out you go, because you have that many more extra loops per row. I know this is really boring, folks. We're gonna
Abstract.
quit talking.
Yeah, we're geeking out. I'm geeking out. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I like mesh the two together. So I was doing the 15 rows at 10, but I was doing that on 20. So my hat turned out like huge, like 2.5 inches too big around the head. So yeah, I'm getting it back. But yeah, the way I told you was the original way I learned, and yeah, it works.
Yeah, I haven't gotten back to mine yet. I tend to get my my loops too tight, and I have to fight with getting the what do they call the crochet hook? The hook. I have a hard time getting the hook through the loop because I've tightened it so much. So I've got to learn how to loosen my my stitch.
Yeah, hemp is, well, really everything you can, when you're doing it, you can do it pretty early, or pretty loose, I mean, because it'll tighten up when you get it wet.
Holy cow, that is break music.
That went quick.
That did go quick. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the first segment of the Ironworks here on Truth Frequency Radio. We will be right back after these brief messages.
Leaders must be good students of ability, their ability, and the people that are in their charge, their influence, their ability. Sometimes it's easy to have somebody right close to you and you've never discovered all of their talent and their potential. I discovered a young man in Canada, Harold Dyke, many years ago. He worked for the railroad, making about $300 a month. But I discovered him. He became a good friend of mine, and I recruited him. The second year he was with me, he made $45,000. And now he's a leader in the community, and he's gifted and skillful, and he's financially independent, and he's a unique gentleman. Now, the railroad had him for 10 years, and they didn't know who they had. They didn't have this in-depth survey of trying to find the people that are right close around who may have some unusual gifts and capacities that nobody has yet discovered. So leaders must be students of ability and find ways to uncover somebody's unusual ability that may have been there for a while. And you've just got to find a way to uncover all of that. Part of the key.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
This
is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
To make the donut.
Wake up, it's a brand new day.
And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworks. Kicking off right now. Zach and I are joined this morning by Travis Finley, the Plain Truth, who, if I had some sad music, I'd be playing it right now.
I know, right? I know. I just was thinking about that right now.
What the hell?
I don't know what the hell, bro, because I can't recreate in my mind. You know how when you lose your car keys, you're like, okay, where's the last place I had my car keys? I cannot get to that spot to where I know where I touched my cameras last, except for being in the condo. So there's no way they got stolen out of the condo. So the only option I have is that I set them down on the sidewalk and drove away, or someone got into my truck when I went into the truck stop and stole my bag. Like, that's the only thing I can figure. So I have no clue. Absolutely tragic.
That is absolutely tragic. And it'd be one thing if some asshole came along and swiped, busted in your window and stole them. Then you could be sad and pissed at the asshole that took it. Or if you're like, fuck, I remember I set them down and drove off and went back and they were gone. Some asshole came and took them, but to just not be able to remember,
I can't
just
get it.
Can't pinpoint it. God, that's got to be so frustrating.
Like, I did this last night when I was going to bed. I'm like, I am going to dream about where I had my cameras last. I'm going to remember where they are. I was like trying to, tell myself what I was going to do. Nothing. I can't get it back, man. Can't get it back. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. My condolences.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. Right. Absolutely.
I want to give a quick shout out to everybody there in chat, but I see a couple of people we don't see very often. One of whom is Carla Redpill, who is probably located just not too far from me right at the moment. But we also have I Spy NASA Lies in chat. We haven't seen Candy in a hot minute.
Candy.
I was just thinking about Candy last night. I was dividing up some diamonds into little silicone containers. I thought, this is what my life has become now. All because of Candy. I met Bob and Candy, Bob and Candy. Jesus Christ, Bob and Cammy. But that was in their hotel room. When I met Zach came and stayed with us. And when Zach left, he left our family here forever changed. But Candy did the same thing. Candy left our family forever changed as well. Mainly because of the introduction of dabs into our routine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they've pretty much been there ever since. So yeah, as I was divvying up my Percy's diamonds wax last night into manageable containers, I thought, this is all because of Candy. So thank you, Candy, and F you, Candy. No, we love you.
Yeah, there was just too much for the dabs.
You ever tried to roll a joint?
No, I tried to what? Bowls.
I said roll a joint.
Oh. It's been a long time. I just smoke out of glass pipes. Just, I mean, I can go straight from bag right to the pipe. No, I mean, I do a little scrunching and, minimal breaking it up a little bit. Or I have a grinder. But no, I don't go through all the, well, I guess my ritual has been streamlined. We'll put it at that. To where it's just plant from bag to pipe to lighter. And I'm good. Joints are too messy. And those things, you just gotta have the big glassware thing. I mean, if I could just do it out of a pipe without burning my fingers and all that stuff, getting so hot, that'd be fine. But you need like an apparatus. And usually I'll pack a bowl and go walk outside or walk down by the creek or whatever and smoke down there. It's just too hard to conceal a propane torch and a big giant glass looking thing. Somebody comes walking by.
That's a little bit sus.
Yeah. I mean, the feeling you get is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's like smoking 10 bowls all at once. But yeah, it's more of a every once. I couldn't do it every day. Just too much stuff involved.
Rolling?
Yeah, just all that stuff. It's just too much.
Too much work?
Yeah. I streamlined it. I got my carpenter bug going right now. I'm building a small deck for Bob and Cammy around the hot tub. Because there's like we have our back porch, and then it drops down about, 7-8 inches. And then you have the hot tub slab that goes up, and it's almost about the exact same height. But there's that like trench in the middle of it, and that's where the water comes down off the roof, so we couldn't concrete that in right there. Because there's a tube and everything like that to push the water out away from the house. So I'm just going to build a little platform to level that out so you don't have to step down, then step back up. And I'm building them a nice little table to go right next to the hot tub. That's kind of, it's not going to have any legs. It's connected to the staircase. So just something, I'm just getting my, I really enjoy working.
What's the material?
Just wood.
Wood.
Yeah. It's going to look like the garden beds that I built. I'm going to build it out of the same type of wood. So it'll all go together. Yeah, it should look nice when I'm done.
You should do some time lapses of yourself and put it up on your channel.
Yeah, maybe I'll do an after.
Fine,
I just
don't do it. It's okay.
I haven't been using the camera too much lately.
People like to do that, man. People like to watch people build shit, man. I watched this one video of a girl gutting her van and putting it all up. It was like hours and hours, but it was all condensed because it was time lapse. I watched the whole thing, man.
Yeah, I've done a few of those. When me and Adam down in Florida were building a.
What's he up to?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a little while now. I know. I'm so happy that Florida isn't so draconian and they've opened stuff up. Because Adam is definitely one of those who doesn't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Like many of us aren't, but he opposes it, we'll say, just as much as anybody out there.
Right.
He can't say, and it was really getting on his nerves real bad. And then it started winding back, and he's, calming down. But yes, I mean, there's people out there that they don't want to be told what to do about anything, As long as they're not hurting anybody else's property or their persons, they just want to be left alone.
Oh man, you're hurting the state. You don't realize that, Zach. You are hurting the state. The state is the victim whenever you violate their rules. So,
The state is not a person.
Oh, Zach.
We are the state. The people.
Well, you violated your social contract.
I didn't sign any contract.
Your silence is acquiescence. You didn't oppose it. You didn't oppose it, so you're in it, man.
That's how they look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. And now that I'm in it, I'm trying to oppose it. And they're like, oh, now you've got to jump through all these hoops and all these rules. If you want to get out, you've got to file this paper, this paper. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't file any of this shit to get in. So why do I have to file your shit to get out? Like, what makes anything that you say obligatory to me? Simply because you're telling me I have to do this. The only thing they can go back on is force and coercion. That's the only.
Yeah, there are no laws. There's no laws. They can make as many
policies, rules.
Policies, yeah. You can post policies all over
all day,
wherever you want.
Yeah, tell me what to do in the bathroom. Yeah.
If they aren't laws, and if they, go against my rights, then I don't have to follow them. I mean, I can't. It's like a mandate. A mandate is just a suggestion. There is nothing mandatory about a mandate. Isn't that weird? You would think mandate meant mandatory.
Right.
But it doesn't. It's a suggestion. That's all it is. We suggest that you do this. I mean, if they would have said that, I guarantee so many people wouldn't have worn them.
Exactly. That's the whole thing that I talked to people about with the license, with your getting your license, right? If there was a suggestion to get your license, like, so people will say, well, why should I get my car registered? Well, it makes sense. Like, it does, right? So you have an identification on your car that's not the VIN. So the VIN is on your door or on your dashboard. It's not, always easy to see it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you got a license plate, and you say, hey, my car just got stolen. It's a Nissan Sentra gray, and here's the license plate. Boom. That's helpful because I just saw that license plate. So now we know where your stolen car is. I get that part. Sure, I'll sign up for that, right? But in terms of making me ask you for permission to be licensed to move from one location to another in my property, at what point am I obligated to ask for your permission? So my son's 16 years old. So right now he's not obligated to the state at all, right? He hasn't entered into a contract, nothing like that. So my question is, at what point?
Don't ever start the contract.
Right, that's right. I know. He's not there. He won't go there. His mom is not on the same page I am, my ex-wife. Anyway, my point is, the question becomes, right, this is a practical question. Your Honor, at what point is my son obligated to ask for your permission to drive?
Never.
Right? Because it only comes down to commerce and coercion. We're telling you have to do this. And in order to do this, you have to pay us. It's commerce and it's coercion.
When the laws actually state you have the right to travel just like everybody else, freely. if you are not working in a commercial capacity, transporting goods from one area to another, if you were just traveling yourself for your own, conveyance, then no, you don't need a license. You don't need license plates. You don't need a vehicle that's registered. You don't need any of that. And I'm seeing a lot more people going this way. Now, if you get into the system, you don't get to just declare, hey, I'm out of the system. And that's it. It doesn't work like that. You have to go in and get this paperwork done and tell them. You have to declare to them now that you are no longer driving within their system. Yeah, I've seen people go and they carry all that paperwork around with them.
Right. Yeah.
The paper they got from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Here's my 1001C3-416 saying that, I have removed myself from your registration and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It can't be registered. Now, I don't know. Can you drive a registered vehicle without a license?
Can you drive a registered vehicle without a license? Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what class, like farm equipment, that's registered, right? It's logged into the system, but it doesn't require a license. You don't need a license to drive farm equipment.
Yeah, Indiana, the children usually start at about 13, 14.
I know, right?
On the combines. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they drive them on the road. I mean, you have to.
So let's say
get from one field to the other.
Let's say Zach has taken a Sunday drive and decides he wants to make a little bit of extra money. So he goes ahead and logs into his Uber account and becomes an Uber driver. Do you need to switch your means of conveyance when you switch your private to commercial hat? Or can you also operate your conveyance in such a way in both private and public?
Right. Well, that would be because I do drive for Uber Eats at times.
Mm-hmm.
So, you cannot get into their system unless you have registration and license and insurance. You have to show them every single one, right? So that would be an interesting dynamic.
Well, because you would be operating in commerce when you're working for them. So you would be commercially liable.
Okay. Well, okay. So my question would be in terms of like, if you said, okay, I just talked to Travis about driving Uber Eats and he says it's a quick, money. Like if you were a college student, it'd be the way to go because it's just quick money, real fast and pretty decent money. So I'm going to do that. At what point in your steps are you going to come across any commercial language? You're not. They're not going to walk you through and say, this protocol that we're taking you through is to log you into a commercial entity so that when you are operating, they don't tell you any of that. It's just, you want to drive for us? We need to see that you have a license, registration, and insurance. So the fact that you're connecting it to commercial, the language of being in commerce, I think is a meta text that you understand that lies behind the narrative that no one else is aware of. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, but that's again where I think, whereas public officials are able to claim ignorance of the law and get that liability where we don't have it. Granted, it's not explicitly stated.
Right.
But if you're operating in commerce,
okay, but see, let's stop right there.
They don't explain, well, this is what you're doing now. You will have been expected to have come this far in life and realized that you are operating in commerce and you're doing something commercially, which is different than privately.
Right. So let's break it down for anybody who might be in the audience and not be up to speed on this discussion. My question to you, Josh and Zach, or whatever, is Why are we even talking about commerce when we're talking about driving our car? What do you mean, Josh? Like, what do you mean? Commerce? Like, that's not a readily available point of information that if you talk to Joe Driver and asked him if he was driving in commerce, he'd be like, what are you talking about? I just asked the state for permission. I got my license. I have my registration. I have my insurance. He doesn't have any concept of the language of commerce being tied to his activity as a driver. So I think that's what I'm saying, that there's an added bit of information that you are operating on. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying that you have added information that's not readily available to Joe Public. Like, he doesn't know what you're talking about.
These are things that should have been taught to us
exactly
in school.
Right. So think about it this way. This is the other way I try to make it a profound concept to think about. Imagine you go to, you're in high school and they're going to teach you about driving, blah, blah, blah. Imagine if they would have started the class by saying, okay, everybody, we just want to be fully, what's the word I'm trying to look for? We're going to disclose to you all of this information. We want you to understand that the moment you sign your license, you have now forfeited all of your constitutional rights. All of the constitutional rights that you have to your person, papers, and property, that is that a police officer must have a warrant in order to demand anything from you, that's gone. So as soon as you sign this up, a cop can do this anytime he wants, and you have to comply. We just want you to know that if you sign up for this, that's what you're doing.
So you're saying if you don't sign up, the cop is going to somehow know this and not force you into a cell?
Exactly. Well, see, but that's the whole thing, right? So then imagine then you got people going, well, I think, it's just like wearing the mask, right? I think that we should do this. I'm like, great, then you do it. I'm going to walk around in public without, right? So if a cop sees me walking without, he's either going to assume that guy's got balls, he's not afraid of no virus, or he's been, stabbed and jabbed and all that kind of stuff. So how does a cop know, right? So here's the way a cop would know. Your car doesn't have tags. The minute the cop sees that your car doesn't have tags, he knows you're not in the system, right? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to not hog the conversation, but here we go, right? So my son decides, yeah, I'm not going to ask the state for permission. I believe my dad, and I'm saying to my son, Charles, I'm not even going to take you out on the main road right now, dude. You are not a safe driver. I am not comfortable with you because you don't even look left, right. You just pull out into traffic, bro. You're going to kill somebody. So you are not going to drive. So he has to prove to me that he can keep himself safe and not put anybody else in danger, right? So now we get to that point. Now I'm like, okay, son, here it is, man. We're going to have a party. You can go out on your own. I don't have to be with you. I trust you. You aren't going to kill anybody. And, blah, blah, blah. So if I have taught him well, if he drives either the speed limit or just under, he's never going to get pulled over. Ever. Why would he ever get pulled over? Okay.
Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's the wrong time of day. Maybe it's such a young driver. That's the bitch of it.
No, I get you. That's fine. So let's say one day he does get pulled over. And the cop says license and registration. And he says, yeah, I don't have any of those things. I'm not in your system. Right? So now the rules don't apply. You can't enforce your policy on me if I'm not in your system. That policy only works for McDonald's employees. I'm not a McDonald's employee. Leave me alone. So he can't enforce something that doesn't exist to you. Right? How can I penalize you for not having a license when you haven't established the fact that I should have one in the first place? Simply because you say I need to have one doesn't make it true, because I'm just going to say, no, I don't. And now we're at 0. You said yes, I said no. Now where do we go? Right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
well, you have to know the language as well. David M. brought up interesting thing in chat earlier. You know, when you're talking to a police officer after they pull you over, they're going to ask you questions. The best thing to do is to not answer any of them. You say, I don't answer questions. Because they're going to ask, where are you driving to? Or where are you driving from? And driving has to do with commerce. You know, everybody thinks, oh, it's just driving. No, that's a word. It has a definition and a meaning, and it has to do with, you know, transporting goods. That's driving.
Yeah.
So they're going to ask you, oh, where are you driving to? Where are you driving from? And if you answer them and say, yes, I'm driving to this place, well, now you're practicing commerce without a license and registration and all that. So you have to really know the language, you know, or you be smart about it and you just tell the officer, no, thank you, I don't answer questions. You don't have to be rude about it. And I think
that's the
a
whole
lot of
thing,
these
right?
police are getting used to it now too.
Before let's carry this on the other side of the break, and I think that's going to bring it right to the end of the first half. There it is. There's that break music.
Hey, you're getting good at this.
I've got a clock, so it helps. Stick around. We'll be right back with more interesting terms, conditional acceptance, things like that. Remember, you might beat the case, but you can't beat the ride. This is the Ironworks. We'll be back.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Warning, under no circumstances should disinfectant products be administered into the human body through injection, ingestion, butt chugging, or any other route. This video is a joke. Enjoy.
We're also testing disinfectants, readily available. We've tested bleach. We've tested isopropyl alcohol. I can tell you that bleach will kill the virus in 5 minutes, and that's with no manipulation. So suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. We're leading the way in so many different ways. Supposing you put the light inside the body in some other ways. As we continue to develop potential therapies, I see the disinfectant. I see the disinfectant. I think people are going to know. You're going to know. I'm going to know. I think people are going to know. You're going to know. I'm going to know. I think people are going to know. I see the disinfectant. This whole curse, this whole plague. And is there a way we can do something like that? Injection. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. As we continue our battle against the virus, the data in fact suggests that we're making great progress. A tremendous ultraviolet for the invisible enemy. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body. And then I see the disinfectant ultraviolet through the skin. And it's working very well. Very big deal. We will end this plague. And then I see the disinfectant. I see the disinfectant. That's really powerful. We hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. Suppose we hit the body. I see the disinfectant. Suppose we hit the body with tremendous ultraviolet. What the fuck, bro?
That was
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. Here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard. To think really hard. To think really hard. To think really hard.
And welcome back to the second half of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Also on the Iron No Media YouTube channel, Odyssey channel, Facebook page, Twitter page, Telegram channel as well. I've been playing around with some really cool things as far as layouts on Telegram. Some pretty cool little bots that can do some interesting things that might
Does Telegram have voice channels like Discord?
Indeed they do.
Really? Am I in the
even video? You can do video calls.
Yeah, I am
Big
in the
shout
chat.
out
Okay.
to Jeremy out there. I want to know more. Heading off to work. Have a great day, man. Hope you have a amazing day as well, brother. Much love. You know, there's a lot of great people out there that come and hang out with us in our chat. Just so many positive, people who are here to keep up with the conversation or have their own conversation that's amazing going on in chat with someone else. You don't see a whole lot of bickering and arguing and trolling and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love this place. I really do. Yeah, I've noticed you've been going live a lot more lately, Trav.
Well, I mean, I just had some time and motivation. It depends on my week. Like a lot of times when I get done with my week, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, in the past couple of weeks, I guess just had a little bit more of a positive ambition. So didn't have a lot of activity live. Like there weren't tons of people in the chat, but that's okay. The content's there. I just kind of ramble and talk about some stuff and
yeah, I love your driving.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Sean Hawkins is coming after me. He's going to try to get. I don't think that I have my workplace public anywhere, so I don't know how he's going to find me. I did find one place where it was listed, and I changed it. So anyway, he's supposed to be coming after me to complain that I've been driving unsafe by streaming while I'm driving. But talking about driving again, yeah, it would be one thing. Again, I think that this is where most of us think the reality is, and that is we just have identification. This license, like if I get into a car accident, how do you know who I am, right? Well, here's his license, right? That's my ID. If it were that simple, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's not, because you have no constitutional expression on the side of the road with a police officer. You have none, zero. They can force you to do whatever they want you to do, which is against your constitutional rights. So then the question becomes, what happened to the Constitution? Like, why in this event right now, while you're pulling me over and arresting me on the side of the road, and arrest just simply means to stop. If you've been forced to stop, if you've been forced to impede your travel, you have been stopped. You have been detentioned. You have been arrested. There's no way around it, right? So when did that happen? When did I give up? When did and they can't tell you when you got your license, right? Because then that'll give the game away that something else was going on besides simply handing the state information on your car that just is generic information so that they know whose car it is and that they know who you are, blah, blah, blah. It's not that benign.
It's almost as if there should be two separate types of licenses.
Right.
There should be one that comes with all the rules and regulations and this and that, and and that's business, commerce. But then there should be another one just for people who are traveling that shouldn't have all this extra nonsense added into it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, say, for instance, I mean, there are designations, right? A taxi, you know what a taxi is.
Mm-hmm.
A tractor trailer.
You have to also have a special license for that too, as well, don't you? To transport other people.
I mean, they call it a special license. You can get special classifications. Well, yeah, technically they're all commercial driver's license by definitions. Like, you can get classified for a CDL, but by definition, every DL is a CDL.
Yeah. Every DL is a CDL, right? But they don't tell you that.
But I think that it helps hide the game, because when you're working for a cab company, it's sort of that corporation then, right, that takes out the lease on the cab cars and gets them all registered under the corporate name of the company. And that's how they accept that liability. And it's done the same way for us, only our corporation name is the exact same name that we happen to respond to our entire life, which makes it real confusing for a lot of people that don't pay attention to what's going on with their name.
Well, think about this, Zach, what you said earlier, that the state is not a person, okay, but it is. Okay, in the legal terms, if you look up in Black's Law, a person is a corporation, is a business, is what are the other terms that are along with that?
This predates America. Corporate personhood predates America. This is a concept that they brought over from England.
Right, maritime law. But what was I going to say? Just a second there, I can't remember. Driver's licenses.
The state being a person.
Like endorsements. Oh, here it is, right? Okay, so look. So this is the way it makes sense to me to understand that we live within a corporation. The United States is a corporation. So that if you identify within that corporation, there are policies, there are codes, there are all of these statutes that apply to people who belong to that corporation. So let's say if you're going to go apply for a job at XYZ Corp, and in order for them to hire you, they say you will be subjected to random searches and seizures of your property. If you want to work here, that's our policy. We want to make sure we are in a safe environment so we can stop you at any time. Anybody with that costume, you see this costume? If I don't have that costume on, I can't make you give me anything. But that guy over there, in this world that you are now applying to enter into, if he says to you, papers, please, you have no choice. Do you want to work here? Yes, sir, I want to work here. Then you're signing your rights away. That's what happened with your license. That's why you have no constitutional rights on the side of the road.
Yeah, you've entered into an agreement.
But
and again,
they didn't tell you that.
Yeah,
they didn't tell
exactly.
You that.
These are all things that we should be taught in school.
Now, I get
it,
right?
It's government class.
Yeah.
I think we should be taught our rights. But instead, I mean, my government class was a joke. They taught me how to fill out a checkbook.
Right.
To do my taxes.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's... Oh, man. I was watching that newest Ghostbusters movie last night. And this young girl, Egon's granddaughter, right? Super smart, genius little girl. Her mom's taking her to school. And I couldn't have said it any more perfect. I can't quote it verbatim. But she said something like, state programming or something like that for not degenerates, but pretty much it's a daycare for ignorant people. And I was like, wow, I wish I would have had that mentality when I was her age. She was like 11, 12, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, but see, the funny part when I watch movies like that, I decode it. I'm like, yeah, she's not that smart. That was in the script. Somebody put that in there. So that's the ironic part about it is like, we're all not that smart. There's no way any of us at the age of 11 would have had that awareness about us.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but
yeah, especially
that's a good point.
And her mom was like super brainwashed.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you're right. I don't see that happening. But there are those young people out there that they just read stuff and logically, it's amazing. Some of these young people out here that get it, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was young, my mom told me about how all politicians lie. You know, the president at the time, George Bush Sr., was caught lying. I was young. This was like late 80s, early 90s. And I asked her, so who's going to be the president now since he was caught lying? And she just laughed and said, oh, no, honey, it doesn't work like that. They're all lying. And right there, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're okay with this?
Right.
This
but
is
imagine
all
if
right?
you, yeah, imagine if you would have kept on that trail from that point. Like, but like me, I'm sure I had a thought like that. I can remember, you know, back to some part of my childhood where I had an epiphany like that. But then I just went on with life, right? I didn't pursue it. I didn't know how. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know how to uncover the rest of the clues. But you had that glitch back then, that glitch in the Matrix where you like took a double take and you're like, wait a minute. And then you just kept going.
I didn't though. I've never voted. I've
no.
never.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You know, I didn't see the point after that.
Yeah.
It was like, wait a minute. So they could tell me that they're going to vote this way and do this and vote that way and do this. And then once they get in, they can do the exact opposite. And they don't get held accountable for any of that. I was like, what's the point of any of this?
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting schmoozed by a romancer. Oh, baby, I'll take care of you. I'll do the dishes. I'll mow the lawn. And then it's always playing PS5 and cracking a beer and saying, hey, go get me another pizza.
Yep.
And it's like, where the hell did all the cowboys go?
That's a song right there.
Right?
If it's not a song already, that needs to be a title.
It is, dude. It is. Where have all the cowboys gone? By Paula Cole.
The cowboys. Did you ever watch Footloose? Come on,
dude. Listen,
I've seen the old one.
I'm pretty sure that's where.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was on there.
No. Paula Cole came out with "Where Have All the Cowboys Gone" in the early 90s, like maybe 94, 95. You need to listen to that. It is a heartbreaking song. Absolutely. Like this woman was just like, this is the man of my dreams. And then you're just like, oh my God. You really need to check it out. Paula Cole.
Someone needs to remake it and use the government. Use America as its thing.
Yeah.
Because, that's how we're all sold. And you know what? would almost bet
I need a hero.
if you live in any country, the leaders of that country are going to tell you this is the best place on earth to live. I mean, Cammie was saying when people would come over from, Israel or China or all these other places, she worked in high-end jewelry at like a private family-owned jewelers, and they worked on she would go to Israel and New York, and they were sending her all around the plane. She was really good at what she did. She had a really good eye as a gemologist. And she said people would come to Denver and they would be talking to her and like, this is amazing. I didn't know that Denver was like this. I thought it was all horse and carriages and buggies. And I mean, this is like, 10, 15 years ago. People thought that Denver here in the United States was still the Wild West, horse and buggies. So that's what they're being told in these other countries. This is their opinion of, this is their image they get in their head of us, the United States, that we're still using horses and buggies. Now, when we think of, well, not we, but, when I was younger, I was told Africa was a bunch of people running around in loincloths and using spears. And in Africa, there are huge cities. The biggest English-speaking city in the world is in Africa. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was like New York or something like that. But no, this place dwarfs New York. I think it's in is it Nigeria? I forget which country it's in. I apologize. But yeah, there's like 24 million people. And there's, when you get a group of people that large, there's lots of different languages being spoken, but like English is spoken throughout the whole city. You could get around speaking English throughout the whole town and converse with, most of the people there. That's the main language. 24 million people, and it's skyscrapers and, people in business suits, and you wouldn't really know the difference if you got rid of all the people and just set it there and you had a street. It'd be like, okay, that's a big city somewhere. But here in the United States, I bet 99% of the people, none of them would guess, oh yeah, that's in Africa.
Oh yeah, right.
We're shown that we're the best, that everywhere else in the world is just a little bit behind and they're still doing this and that and yada, yada, yada. But in reality, all these places are built up.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much difference in, the advancements from place to place.
Right.
Like they have skyscrapers and all the same kind of stuff that we have here. Everywhere. Even in Mongolia. Go look at the capital of Mongolia. Big,
what are you talking about? That's just full of Mongs.
Yeah, you would think, oh, those are just a bunch of nomads walking around out in the desert and blah, blah. No, it's a huge metropolis.
Right.
Millions of people living together in big, giant skyscrapers, and they're all wearing suits and ties and, it's... So if they're told that about us and we're told that about them, I don't know. That's one of the biggest frustrations I've been seeing lately is how much we're lied to about each other. This is where that divide and conquer really, it kicks in mentally because you put yourself above all these other people.
Oops. I think I was making noise. Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah, I'm sorry for ranting. Not sure where I'm going with that, but yeah, we're not told, we're not given a clear picture of what's really out there.
Hey, Zach, and anybody else, I put the link for that song in the YouTube chat and in the Skype chat if you want to check it out. I recommend it. It's a really good song.
You. Yeah, I was just done with country music by about then, and I was getting into R&B. I did country till about 91, 92. I was really into country music. And then I found Boys to Men.
Well, that's the thing. The Paula Cole song isn't a country song. So.
Oh, okay.
It's you remember Jewel? Remember the artist Jewel?
Yeah.
Paula Cole is like her, so think about that style of music.
Okay. Yeah, I like Jewel songs. Are there any good? I mean, you're a music guy, Trev, aren't you? Is there any bands out there right now that are, pulling on any of your strings? Like a newer band within the last 5-6 years? You keep up on any of that stuff? Or Josh?
Not me so much. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell movie that Paula Cole song was in. I know exactly what song he's talking about.
Eating away at
I'm
you,
gonna
isn't
have to look it up at some point. And somebody in chat's probably already said it. I've just not had an eye on chat. I know it's there somewhere too. Yeah, no, I'm kind of like you. I was more, say, 94, 95, maybe, before I stopped listening to country music. But I was only listening to country music that went up into like 91, 92.
Yeah, I did a lot of the older country. I love Charlie and Willie and the Outlaws and all the stuff my uncles listened to.
I go back as far as like 60s. I like the old Blue Yodelers. I like a lot of like the original Hank Williams. There's a lot of good stuff that was even in the 60s. So 60s, 70s, 80s, and then they're in the early 90s, real early 90s.
Garth Brooks.
Yeah, I can come back and listen to Garth now and appreciate him. I liked him again when he first came out, but then I saw sort of how mainstream and poppy. What was it? Chris Gaines or whatever, when that album came out, I was just like totally turned off. I was already headed that way because all of his albums were sort of getting, well, is it like he and Shania Twain just turned country into pop, plain and simple. He was putting out country albums and pop albums, and she would release one album in a country version and a pop version, all sorts of goofy shit.
Yeah, now I see rap and country being mixed.
Well, even in the 90s, I remember them trying that. They were doing trying country rap. And I can appreciate a little bit of rap in my country. I can appreciate a whole lot of country in my rap.
Well, if you think about it, though, trying to remember what, Blondie, what was the song that she put out? Was it Rapture? Where she rapped, right? That was late 70s. And then Walk This Way was a rap in my mind, because that's what Run DMC did with it. But it's not a singular genre. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But trying to think back as to what song I remember, like thinking, I think this is the first rap song ever. I think it was in the 60s by like the Yardbirds or something crazy like that. I'm like, this sounds like a rap song. I'm trying to think. Anyway. But yeah, I never got into country. I never enjoyed Conway Twitty or Loretta Lynn. I'm not even impressed with Johnny Cash. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how did that guy get anywhere? Like, he's not anything spectacular, in my opinion. I don't know. I think in situations like that, you got to think that it's just a controlled psyop. You know what I mean? We're going to put this guy out. like what we've heard about what happened with the Beatles, you know, where all the girls screaming and fainting, like that was all staged, you know, that was all staged, right? So that they created this fervor. So they created people doing that, right? So they showed you on TV what didn't really happen. And then when you went to the concert, you did that. You went crazy and screamed and fainted and all this other kind of shit. But that's not like, you know.
Were you thinking of Bob Dylan, first rap song?
I don't know.
Adam
I don't know.
Merle. That's what I always said. Subterranean Homesick Blues.
Okay.
It's Johnny's in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. A man in a trench coat, badge out, laid off, says he's got a bad cough, wants to get paid off. Look out, kid, you know. Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of a rap song for sure.
Yeah. What's that when you get up and you just do poetry, that riffing poetry kind of stuff?
Oh, is it slam poetry? No,
slam poetry. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
People start snapping their fingers.
I did my first slam poetry in Lowell, Massachusetts, back in 2018 with my very first Flat Smack song that I wrote. I wrote.
Holy, I did not expect that to hit that fast. Well, that's 3/4 of the way. Stick around. We've got one more segment of the Ironworks coming up right after these messages. We are still missing Walt. Anyway, stick around.
Buy this car, you'll get girls. Buy this bra, you'll get guys. And we're seeing it so much that we start believing these lies. But the truth is, the makeup they're selling to make you feel prettier is the same makeup you buy to stop feeling shittier about this lie they keep telling you that you are not enough. And what about the movies we watch, all the shows on TV? The more I watch, the more I see I need you to complete me. And yes, love is the answer, love is the key, but if you can't love yourself, how can you ever love me? And loving yourself, what does that even mean? Like massages and selfies and that sort of thing? Because the more I think about it, the more it feels weird. I've always been taught that self-love was something to be feared. I've been taught that arrogance is bad and vanity, it's not good. And even my bracelets are telling me to act how Jesus would. So what should I do?
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
And welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks. Kicking off right now. Josh, Zach, and Travis hanging out with us this morning. Having a grand old time. Having a great conversation. Just going all sorts of places. As they tend to do here on the Ironworks.
I got static coming in. Is that Zach?
That's Zach. That's just Zach.
Shout out to Nora. No one's flower.
Nora. It's been too long since I've seen Nora, all this nonsense. I got to meet Nora in Denver.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was my first. Was that your first, Trav?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I can't believe it's been 2019 when I was in Dallas, right? That was crazy. Been that long.
Yeah, I've loved every meetup. Don't get me wrong. They've all been awesome experiences and amazing. But this last Flattoberfest, I don't know what it was about it. Maybe it was all the... Oh, dude. You missed a good one, Trav.
I know. I was like on the cusp. I was just on the cusp of saying to my dispatcher, "Hey, set me up with a load that'll drop me off in South Carolina, and I'll hang out for the weekend." And I just didn't do it.
Oh, you should have. It was so many new faces. A lot of old faces, a lot of people that we didn't get to see, like you. But so many new people.
Yeah.
So many people that were even on the fence that just came with friends and stuff like that. And by the end of it, they were flat earthers.
Yeah.
This one lady, she wasn't even on the fence. She was straight, ball. I don't want to say tard, but just ball lover.
GSW, Globe Science Warrior.
There you go. And she came up and talked with Cammie and I, and we showed her I showed her, my stuff. And then she went over to Cammie's side. And no joke, this was the first day. It was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 when they had got up there over there. She didn't leave Cammie until like 4 p.m. And she walked away and she just went and leaned up against the wall at the top of the stairs and was just sitting there, like shaking her head. And I walked by her and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." She's like, she was speechless. And she was like, started crying right there. Yeah, it was amazing, man. There's just, and the people of Spartanburg were so interested because we were like right downtown. It didn't stay at just at like a convention center, and everything stayed within the convention center. You know, we were like right downtown, lots of businesses right around us, people walking around, going for lunch, just going for walks and whatnot. There was so many people flat smacked that had no intention of being flat smacked, you know, never even heard of flat earth. And by the time it was all said and done, I think there was like 40 or so blue dots in my area, and it was like 78 or something like that. 72, something like that. It almost doubled over the weekend. It was just amazing, man. And I'm not sure about a solar return, at least not here, not put on by Karen B. But she is hopefully going to be doing another Flattoberfest. So we need some more event planners out there. It's a lot of work. It is.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let me throw something at you guys, if you don't mind, real quick. I was thinking about the star trails, and I don't believe that if we tried to recreate star trails in a model, and I'm not talking about a graphic program, I'm not talking about computer. You can do anything in a computer. I'm talking about modeling it like you're in 6th grade, like you're going to say, Mommy, I'm going to build a model of the northern and southern celestial rotations and blah, blah. Like, I don't think you could do it. I don't think it can be done. So the way that I was thinking about it was, you get like a large room, get your living room or your bedroom, and you paint the walls black, and then you just splatter stars all over, right? And then you put in the middle of the room a model of the Earth with a camera on it, and then spin it. There's no way you're ever going to get arcing, diverging trails. They're all going to be linear.
Yeah, I've done this.
You did this?
Mm-hmm.
So did you publish it?
Yeah, I think it's in there somewhere. It was a long time ago. I did it on but I used my laser pointer to make the stars.
Yeah.
You know how it gives you all those different patterns when you rotate the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had it out there, and then I set my camera on a wheelchair wheel, laid on its side.
Right.
And then had it rotating around. It was a
Yeah,
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Trying to rotate that thing perfectly and get a perfect star trail is almost impossible. That's why when you see the ISS showing you star trails from the ISS, that's horseshit. Nonsense. Impossible. I say show me.
Yeah, that's the point that I was trying to make, because you have two axes of angular momentum, right? You've got the rotation of the Earth and the orbit. You've got two conflicting trajectories. There's no fucking way you're going to get the star trails like that. No way.
No. Yeah, it is so improbable, or impossible, really, I think, to get a star trail on a moving object like that. Not just spinning, but the Earth is also moving. You know? And I know it's just fractions, just teeny tiny fractions, but
over time you would see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you barely touch that wheel while it's spinning, you know, or if you don't even touch it, it just hits like a little something. If it's not a perfect bearing, and it makes this little doom, and you see it on the star trail for sure. It makes a drastic difference. Lines start crossing, all kinds of crazy stuff starts happening when you move that center point of rotation, just a hair. So to think that we're on a moving object that's spinning and they're saying that we're getting these perfect star trails, I say bullshit. That's impossible.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the way it just came to my mind right now, let's say I don't know how to do this. How can I say this? So I'm going to put a lamppost at the top of a cresting hill. Okay. It's just this easy grade up and down, right? But you're on the surface so that the lamppost is not moving, right? Because that's what the stars are not doing. The stars are not moving. It's us, right? So if I'm approaching the lamp, that lamp is going to appear to change its position because I'm changing my position. But it's gonna get closer to, like, far away, it's closer to the top of the ridge, and the closer I get, it changes its location, and then when I move away, it then drops back down again. You don't get that kind of motion. That's what would happen if I'm looking at something at night and I'm far away from it when I start filming, right? So I'm going to set my cameras up. I'm going to choose the star. I'm just going to choose Orion's belt, whatever. So I'm aiming straight ahead. If I move toward that, that's going to do the same thing because I'm moving and I'm on a curved surface. That's like driving over a grade. Like, I'm going to create a parallax in that star based on my motion, and we don't see that. That parallax is not going to be a perfect concentric circle. It's going to be like elliptical. So we don't even see what reality. That's what happens, right? We know that that's what happens in reality when we experience parallax when we're driving. And so then when we then look out to the stars and we're told that the model is this way, it doesn't match what we experience in reality.
Exactly.
But I
don't know if we're.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if it's even possible to figure out the sky.
Well,
I think about it, but for the most part, I'm just really grateful that it's there.
Yeah.
And sun comes around, hey, everything's okay in my world. As long as that sun keeps doing what it's doing, everything else is just gravy. It may taste good, it may taste bad, but meat and potatoes is always there if we have the sun. Drop that link to that. That was 4 years ago. That's crazy. We've been at this a while. It never gets old though, learning. I'm looking into chiral molecules now.
Bless you.
Have you ever heard of that? Chiral?
No.
I think this is one of those things that keep hidden from us. It's these molecules that they have the same mirror image, but they're not symmetrical. It's like your right hand and your left hand. The mirror image looks exactly the same, but you can't overlay your right hand and left hand in reality and make it look exactly the same. Your fingernails are pointing up, your thumbs are facing the opposite direction. Your thumbs are facing the same direction, now your palms are facing different directions. So they're mirrored, but they're not asymmetrical. And there's something about these molecules, and the most interesting part is like I said, I just started researching this, but this has to do with biological life. All biological life is made up of these chiral compounds. And the right hand, left hand, in a lot of these compounds, one side is like toxic, while the other side is beneficial to your health. So it's almost as like these same things made up of the exact same elements, same atomic weight, same atomic structure, same amount of energy in there, but one is good and one is bad. And they've learned how to separate these things. from themselves. And it made me start thinking about mercury and all this other kind of stuff. How there's good mercury, and then there's the bad mercury. So I don't know if this is exactly how it all works. Like I said, I'm just getting into this. But yeah, I'd love if people would start looking into chiral compounds. And again, it's all talking about atoms and this and that. So it's not really, don't look at it like that. Like these are a bunch of atoms being stuck together and this and that. Think of it more like energy and frequency and, the yin and the yang almost.
Right. Yeah, you wonder if you divide what is united, whether or not that's a natural, a natural, naturally beneficial. I would think that you have to have them together, and to divide them is to create malignancy, to a certain extent. Zach, let me make a suggestion.
Beneficial. So, I mean, it could, what if they're separating the mercury compounds?
Right.
And they keep all the good stuff for them.
Right.
And then release all the, this is all in medicine too. This is a real big thing in medicine.
Yeah.
So even if you're getting this compound, it still may not be beneficial to your health because it goes beyond just being this compound. There's more to it than just what it's made of. I don't know, but I'd love some help researching into chiral compounds.
Hey, listen, Zach. I don't think that you're on Facebook very often, but I'm gonna tag you in a friend of mine. He posts all the time on health, and he's doing a lot of research that I think would interest him. This topic would interest him, I think. So I'm going to tag you in one of his things next time you get on Facebook, and then just friend him and follow and see what he writes, and see if you can get into a conversation with him. He will blow your mind with the health issues. When he's ready to come out, he told me that he would do it first on Red Hen Radio with me. But as soon as that happens, Josh, you need to get this guy on, because the stuff that he's doing with health is just absolutely mind-blowing by anecdote, because all I know is what he's telling me, what he's doing, but it sounds really impressive.
Well, feel free to tag me as well. I'm on there a bit more often than
I'll do that. Sure. Okay.
Zach, and I can share that then on the Ironworxon Media Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll jump on his newest post, and I'll tag both you guys.
Nice.
Got about 9 minutes left, 8.5 or so there before we hit the end of the show, and I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this morning. It's early. Hell, I barely want to be here myself. We got all these wonderful people tuning in to us this morning, so thank you guys so much. It is a good time. I jest because I do absolutely love coming to hang out, and because sometimes Austin, awesome Austin, there in chat, has been known to come hang out with us on a Tuesday morning. So I was thinking, well, it might be possible Austin just pops in and surprises us, because we say, you've got the link, just pop in and surprise us. So I thought, well, maybe we'll get a surprise guest this morning. I wonder if it might be Austin. And it was not, but it was Travis. So thank you, Travis, for just popping in and using the link and surprising us this morning. I do appreciate it. It is always an enjoyable way to start my day.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
And a big we miss you out there to Mr. Walt Johnson. We miss you, man. Love you. Hope the healing is coming along well.
Yeah, so Walt jumped in my live stream the other day. I think Thursday, maybe. I did a pretty long live stream, and then all of a sudden Walt joins, and then who else came in? Oh, shoot now. Craig, but I don't remember his name, his handle. And then who was the girl? I'm totally dropping it around. Anyway, Walt joined my show, and then I got like 4 or 5 other people. Voynich joined, and just had great conversation. So yeah, I got to talk to Walt. That was good.
Awesome. And I saw up in chat there earlier I'd like to give a shout out to Liz. Her mom isn't doing too well, and she was asking for some prayers. Sent her way and some just good vibes. So if you got any left in the tank, send them out to Scotland's way, to our Iron Maiden out that way. We love you, Liz.
Please do. I will definitely be sending some love that direction.
So yeah, we got about 6 minutes left. I don't know. I saw they're talking about, I think it's official, they're pulling down the ISS here in a couple years. They're just going to let it disintegrate and focus on going to the moon and Mars. Well, this will be a really telling thing, whether or not they're going to try to pull this off. This, their next film. And I wonder if they're going to tell people that, like, I'm sure you guys have heard Buzz Aldrin come out and say, I think it was on Conan O'Brien. Conan was saying, we watched the movie.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you didn't. That was animation.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're going to come out beforehand and say anything like, we couldn't do it, but this is what it looks like up there, or if they're actually going to try to do it. Or if it'll just get kicked down the road, until NASA's dissolved. I think that's the way they're going to do it. I don't think they'll ever admit to anything. They're going to abolish NASA, and then maybe a couple decades after that, it'll all go to privatized space. And then the government will come out and say, hey, wait a minute. This isn't even real. Oh, I know. Well, nobody here is working for NASA, blah, 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 blah. The higher-ups and blah, blah, blah. They're all dead and gone. I don't know. I don't know how long it'll take. Or if they're actually going to throw some people under the bus. I don't know. But they can't keep this charade up forever. That's for sure. More and more eyes are being, focused towards this stuff and just calling out the nonsense. So this will be an interesting decade, I think, coming up.
Yeah, it's almost like we'll have to have people who are making sure that all of that information doesn't get lost so that it can be pulled up and say, look, this is what you guys did 10 years ago. You can't pretend like it didn't happen now, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to scrape all residual information, and it's just like you forgot. Like, didn't my dad tell me something like a couple days ago? What was that? And then you just forget, and then it's just a lost memory.
Yeah, that's why I think it would need to be at least a decade or two down the road after, for whatever reason, NASA were to be dissolved. Just money reasons, maybe budget. That'd probably be my best guess of why they would dissolve NASA, because the country's in great financial turmoil right now. But I think it would take decades. They would have to wait decades to say, hey, NASA was lying.
Right.
They couldn't do it right away. They'd have to let people forget about it. Like you said, people's memory is just, in a couple decades, who's going to be mad about it?
Right. Well, it's like the whole space lettuce thing. People forget that they did it 2 or 3 years ago, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and it's like, yeah. I mean, think about this. Like, I've started watching series on Netflix, and I'm like, wait, I've watched this, and I didn't even remember watching it. But I'm watching it again. I'm like, wait a minute, I've already seen this episode, so I've watched this series before. That's like those memories of space lettuce. Like, you don't remember 3 years ago that they grew lettuce up in the ISS, and when they show you 4 years later, you think, "Oh, that's great. They're moving forward."
Advancements.
Because streaming services and news services will do the same thing and just buy and sell the rights to these stories. So you might watch a whole series on Hulu, and then a year and a half later, you're scrolling through Netflix like, "Oh, this looks interesting." Like, holy fuck, have I seen this before? Where have I seen this? What the fuck is this? It says it's a Netflix original. What the fuck? And then 9 months later, it's over there on Amazon Prime as an Amazon Prime original. Like, man, haven't I seen this before? I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. You're not going to fool me a third time.
Oh, you know, there's a saying in Tennessee. I think it's down in Texas as well. You know, fool me once.
Real quick before we get out of here, John Quincy Adams, folks. We need some researchers on this. Supposedly, he was trying to get an expedition to the corner of the Earth. Now, it's all been turned into hollow Earth theory over the years, but I bet if we went back and read his original transcripts, which I think can still be found, I bet he mentions, because it was all about finding that corner of the Earth, the edge of the Earth, according to John Quincy Adams. Now, I just heard this, a guy talking about it. I haven't got to research it yet and look into his papers. I did a little bit of research, and everything was about hollow Earth theory, hollow Earth theory, hollow Earth theory. But according to the first guy I found, that was talking about it, he actually read the manuscripts, and it talks about the end of the Earth, the edge of the Earth, trying to find the corner of the Earth. So this was a president of the United States that was doing this not that long ago. But yeah, I think a little bit more research needs to be done. Love y'all.
Love you guys. Always remember.
Until next time.
Until next time. Check out The Plain Truth here on YouTube. Travis is doing more live streaming as we memorialize his cameras. You guys have a great rest of your week. Be good. Be well. We love you. Bye-bye.